Chet is underwritten by Helm Paint and Supply, delivering the ultimate paint experience with locations throughout New Orleans, Metairie, Hammond, and the North Shore, and by Realtor Barry Bossier of the Tommy Crane Realtor Group.
Hi, I'm Chet Porcho, and welcome to the first show of Chet Chat. Each month, our show is going to help a local nonprofit that has special design challenges. We will get our friends in the design industry to help, and at the same time, teach you special ways that you can decorate your home and actually DIY do-it-yourself. We'll also introduce you to some of the most talented artisans in the greater New Orleans area and show you what's hot in home furnishings. Today, we're going to discuss special challenges presented to our team from Belle Reve. Belle Reve is a special local transitional residence for people and families living with HIV and AIDS. Joining us today is Executive Director Vicky Weeks. Welcome, Vicky. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Hi, Chet, and thank you for having me.
Well, Vicky, you came to me with a special design challenge that you wanted the people at Belle Reve to have a special common place where they could actually feel comfortable. You can go and have your meetings. And I just wanted to make something really special for you. What did you intend for this room to be?
Well, after Hurricane Katrina, we had a lot of renovations that we needed to do. Mm-hmm. And this was previously a living room of somebody's home that we made into wanted to make, I should say, into a community space. Uh-huh. But I wasn't exactly sure how that should look. So I decided to call the experts and see what you could do for me, because I knew that we needed something where families that live in our apartments could come downstairs all in one space and do things together, as well as their children be able to have a space to play.
Yes, and when you talked to me, Vicky, you said you really wanted a special place for the children to actually play. Yes. Tell me a little bit about the children that are at Belle Reve.
Well, we're very blessed that none of the children right now are HIV positive.
That's great.
Yes, it is. In the past, we have had HIV positive children. Mm-hmm. Right now, we have a newborn, as well as a 14-month-old and a 3-year-old little girl as well. Uh-huh. So we're trying to find ways to help these families.
And when you mean find ways to help them, you actually give them residence to stay, you guys feed them, you give them clothes. Tell me a little bit about the services that you actually give the women and children at Belle Reve.
That's a great question. We really do try to provide a home for these families. Most of them come from situations, especially post-Katrina, where they were either living with relatives or on the verge of being homeless. Mm-hmm. And one of the parents, if there is more than one, at least one of the parents is HIV positive. Mm-hmm. And they apply just like anybody would to live in our residences. Right. Mm-hmm. And we take them by highest need. Uh-huh. And according to the number of children that they have, because we do have a 3-bedroom apartment where we could take as many as 4 children. Mm-hmm. And we try to determine what their needs are, and then we set them up with specialists that would try to help them, like social workers, make sure that they have their doctors that they go to see on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And then we also have to check to see what their children's needs are as well.
And so you have Belle Reve, but then you have a couple of other buildings that you guys have acquired recently. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we used to have a very ugly, huge warehouse garage that was really to no use to us except for some storage. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to do something with that building and increase the number of people we were able to serve. So we renovated that building into 2 floors. The first floor is the assisted living facility called Belle Grace, and that is also for individuals, both male and female. There are 6 bedrooms in that building. And then upstairs, we actually have social work offices, administrative offices, a conference room, and an activity center, which we're really very pleased about. And the other building we have is the actual Belle Reve building. The building where you designed the room, that building is called Belle Esprit. And Belle Reve, we renovated that building as well, and that is also assisted living for individuals.
Well, you know, I've been to Belle Reve, and it's just an amazing facility. How many families do you have there? How many families can you accommodate at one time there?
At one time, we can have 4. We have 1 3-bedroom apartment, 2 1-bedrooms, and then 1 efficiency that we let either a couple live in or a mother and 1 child.
And how long can the residents at Belle Reve live there?
That depends on each person's need. Sometimes we have people that come in and staying with us until they get a voucher where they may go and live somewhere permanently. We're really considered transitional, and according to the federal government, transition can be up to 2 years. We encourage it no more than a year so that we can help more people. But if a family needed us for 2 years, they could stay.
And once they leave Belle Reve, do you help them with additional housing, or do they have housing already set up for them when they leave there?
Well, that's one of the things that we do not actually assist them with the new housing, but we assist them in trying to get the housing set up for them to move to. We would not put them out unless they had another place to go.
Right. And so, is it easy for them to get into Belle Reve? I know you said that they have to go to a social worker, and once they get with the social worker, then the
Correct.
social worker contacts you guys. What's the waiting list like for someone who needs to be at Belle Reve?
That's also a very good question. Once again, we take on highest needs. We can only handle 4 families at any one time because we only have 4 apartments. Sometimes the list is very long, and then sometimes it's not. For instance, we had a family that had 3 children that was in our 3-bedroom apartment. They were finally able to get a voucher to move out to permanent housing, and we've yet to have another family move in that, only because the people that have come to us only have 1 child, and we don't want to give them a 3-bedroom because we know that another family is going to show up that has more children that need that apartment.
So Vicky, tell me the mission statement of Belle Reve. What exactly is your goal and objective to Belle Reve, Belle Esprit?
Our mission is to provide both transitional and permanent housing, along with full supportive services to anyone that lives with HIV and AIDS.
And if a family contacts you, but you already have a full house, I'm sure you work with other HIV and AIDS organizations that you guys work together and can kind of help them to get additional housing for that person if you guys are already full?
Oh, very definitely. In fact, we work with non-housing HIV providers as well, who have case managers that represent all the clients living in the metro. Really, it's a 7-parish area, and any of them can refer clients to us. If we have no beds, we recommend that they call the other 3 housing agencies in the city, which is Home Again, Project Lazarus, and Trinity House. So the 3 of us certainly do keep in contact and try to help make sure the beds that are available are taken by those in need.
Great, great. Vicky, thank you so much for joining me today. And once again, I was so pleased to work with you on the Belle Reve project, and I can't wait for everybody to see the reveal.
Oh, I'm excited about you showing your work and showing what Belle Reve does. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Really
Happy holidays to you, Vicky.
Thank you.
The Chet Chat team was so excited with this challenge because we knew how important this room was for the residents of Belle Reve. The room was empty when we first saw it. There were 2 windows, a fireplace, and 3 doors leading outside or to other rooms. First, we wanted to lay carpet squares that could easily be replaced if any individual squares were damaged. These easily applied squares were provided by floor. We then added a sofa, a chair, and a side table in the front of the fireplace to create a cozy area for residents to socialize with friends and family. Interior Fabrics and Metairie provided us with fabrics for the curtains that utilized a band across the bottom as a design feature. The Harder Foundation donated art, and Canal Furniture donated a media center for the children's space behind the sofa. A special contemporary piece of art hangs above the fireplace. The final touch was the contemporary chandelier donated by Lighting Inc. Once we had designed, we really needed some help with the direction we would be taking when painting the room. We wanted to highlight the fireplace, but as with any challenge, we really needed some help, so we called in our good friend Joey Helm from Helm Paint. I met with Joey at the store on Earhart to learn more about the special painting techniques that could enhance the fireplace. When I have a design challenge that involves painting or a painting technique, I always call my good friend Joey Helm at Helm Paint. Joey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me, Chet. You always keep me on my toes. You got these interesting projects. Today's no different, and I won't disappoint you.
Well, good. I'm happy to hear
Yes,
that.
sir.
So tell me a little bit about Helm Paint and the services that you guys provide there.
Well, Helm Paint has been in business for over 40 years. We've seen a big evolution in the painting industry. Benjamin Moore, who's been in business since 1883, has a lot of research and development that goes in a can. They make a better product that's a greener product, a better performing product, gives you better coverage, better hide, better durability. And that's why Benjamin Moore is the leading product on the market right now. We have many locations around the city. You can find us on the web at helmpaint.com. We offer free delivery. We do expert color matching. We do color tracking, and we have the best technical expertise in the business.
Yes, you do. So tell me a little bit about the technique that you're going to apply to Belle Reve today.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do some layering. We're going to do some texturing of color. We're trying to veil color. We're trying to show more than one color by only adding one color. That color happens to be a glaze. Today it's going to be a metallic, and you're going to be able to pull many colors out of what we're doing, especially in Belle Reve with the fireplace that we did go to.
And is that something that's very easy and that anybody could do it?
That's something that anybody could do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it, and even you can do it. I promise you. I promise you.
Well, I'm willing to try. So tell me a little bit about the paints that we're going to use today exactly.
Well, today we're going to use a latex. It's a low VOC product as well, but we're going to use a latex product that is metallic. The reason why we use metallic is we want something that's going to reflect lighting in a different way from anywhere you look in the room. We want to be able to bring focus to that element and actually concentrate on that element or pull attention to it to create this big focal point. And I think we'll do it today with this metallic.
Well, great. Well, great. Here behind us we have just kind of a little mock-up of what the actual fireplace is going to look like. And can you kind of walk me through and tell me exactly what's the procedure that you're going to use to really enhance this fireplace and make it happy and friendly for the women and children and men at Belle Reve?
Well, sure. First of all, it's color selection. We've chosen some vibrant colors. We've chosen random bricks to basically bring out those colors or to bring out those bricks and create attention to it. Now, what's the big attention getter that we're going to use today, though, is the veiling of color, what we talked about. The metallic. I mean, that is the key ingredient. And if you put it on in a textured manner by using a tool such as a sponge, you get an inconsistently consistent pattern on the surface by using a tool and that glaze.
Okay. So this exactly is a sponge. Is that something that you can purchase at Helm Paint?
Available at your Helm Paint and Supply locations. This is a natural sea sponge. This is the kind at the bottom of the sea that is actually farmed out. And there's wool and grass. This happens to be a wool sponge.
Okay.
I like it. It's soft. Once it becomes wet, it actually becomes very soft, and you're able to carry that texture. Choose your weapon well, though.
Okay. But
you can actually add some texture to the surface very easily.
Okay, show me what we got here. I'm excited to do it.
I got it. No problem. No problem. First of all, we have a sheer metallic, which means we can see through it. Okay? So as we go to the surface, you notice that we're keeping texture. We're putting texture on the surface, and we're able to, and it's going to move a little bit because it is a mock, we're able to see that the bottom layer, the bottom color actually coming through the surface, while we have that top layer metallic, and as it dries, it actually becomes more of a metal looking surface on the top of it. We don't want to put too much paint on. We want to basically dip our sponge in the paint, and then we get the excess off by using a damp cloth. I dampened my sponge so it releases the glaze at a very good, consistent rate, because you don't want a big blob on there as well. And then we rotate so we get different texture on the surface as we go through. You notice what it does to that brick. This brick, we actually, we can bring it to life. Notice you still have that vibrant color coming through, but you also have the metallic. It lends itself to a real rich look.
And this is something that, like I said, anybody can do. And how do you know if it's a wrong or a right way, if you're adding too much or too little?
There's really no right or wrong way. It's the final result that actually matters. And as long as you're getting that veiling effect, and I use that term because you're putting a layer of color over another layer of color while creating a different color with those two than those two are. So in this case, when we go over the red, we get something that's muted, something that shows that metallic out there. And this happens to be a white background or a white base coat. On the fireplace, we actually use a little cream. It's got a little more color to it.
Okay, well then if anybody could do it, I want to try it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. You said that we
dip it in the paint.
Dip it in your paint.
Yep. We're going to actually, get a little of the excess.
This is a DIY, do it yourself. If I can do it, so can you.
Absolutely. And we want to get a little bit a blob off that surface. That's right. And leave some product on there. Then we're going to go to it. This happens to be a light spot.
Okay. So I'm just kind of dabbing back and forth.
Rotate your sponge so you get all the different texture of the surface.
Okay. And are you
Very
supposed to
good.
work in one section at a time, or you just kind of go around?
You can always work wet into wet, Chet. So you can
Okay.
work maybe 3 feet by 3 feet at a time. In this
Okay.
case, we're doing a fireplace which has a lot of texture to it. Therefore, we're going to probably work in a 2 by 2 or smaller area. So we keep wet into wet, so
Okay.
we don't have these laps that we picked up and pulled off.
And how do you know when you need to add more paint to the sponge?
You want it to look consistent. So
Okay.
if you find yourself fading on the surface, you actually will load the sponge more.
Okay, that was fun, but I'm going to give it back to you, the
Absolutely.
expert, and let you show me how you basically go about finishing. How do you know when you exactly are done with this piece?
It's all about the look.
Okay.
You want to stand back and say, you know what, I like that. The good thing about sponging and about decorative painting is that I can go back and add things to it.
Right.
I can add elements to it. If I wanted to add another color, I could do that as well.
I can't wait to see exactly what you've done at Belle Reve. So this is exciting. Joey, thank you so much for joining me today. For more information on this DIY segment, you can go to my website at chetporchotdesign.com. Many in New Orleans and the Gulf South are familiar with Studio Inferno, which is a 90-year-old mill house downriver from the French Quarter on Royal Street. Mitchell, tell us about Studio Inferno and exactly what you guys do over there.
Sure. Studio Inferno is a building I purchased about 20 years ago. And it was purchased because I was looking for a location for my hot shop. It was much too large for what I needed just for my use, for my glass working studio.
Okay.
And it was much too large for what I needed just for my personal use.
Right.
So I opened up about 3/4 of the building to other artists. So after 20 years, it's home for Studio Inferno and my personal shop, as well as for 22 other artists.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So you're a glass artist. Tell me a little bit about what you do. You're a sand glass, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I work primarily glass, hot glass by the casting technique. I got a bachelor's degree in stained glass from Louisiana State University and went on to get my master's at Tulane in glass. I studied with Gene Cost there. And that school's program is really directed to working glass sculpturally. So that's what I try to do. My production work is all hot cast as well as my own personal work.
Great, great. And what's very coincidental is that we're doing this reveal about Belle Reve, and you happen to be right
Sure.
across the street from Belle
Exactly.
Reve. But I know you pretty much, Mitchell. You're a friend of mine.
Right.
Not only are you going to donate a great piece to Belle Reve, but you also donate other pieces to local nonprofits.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about why you're so involved with so many nonprofits.
Well, I think you know, as an artist, and this is really common with most artists, is that you know, we support organizations that we believe in, and it's of course difficult to do that money-wise, you know, but as far as the work we make, it's very easy for us. It helps us promoting our work to a certain degree, but it's mainly done out of passion and stuff. So Belle Reve is a very good neighbor. You know, we're part of the Bywater collective of businesses and stuff, and so it's good for me to do that as well as supporting other organizations.
Good. So you've actually bought us some pieces today. You want to walk us through and exactly tell us what we have here?
Sure. Well, the first piece that you're holding up is a cast glass tile, and it's an image I use a lot. It has a wheel on it, and the wheel to me is a symbol of progress and of motion. And this wheel, it's an old found object I make the impression with, has a broken spoke, so it's an incomplete, it's like a work in progress. And I think that's true with most of New Orleans and a lot of nonprofits and people struggling to keep the wheel turning and stuff.
Why the color of this piece?
Well, you know, for the Belle Reve location, you know, blue, of course, is a healing color. It's very relaxing and meditative, and this is a nice aqua glass. All the glass we use at Inferno is recycled, and this is one of my favorite colors.
Really? Well, that's great because, you know, most of the stuff that really talk about is making sure that, you know, we recycle and upcycle and do it yourself. So I'm really more drawn to this piece, and it couldn't be more of a beautiful piece for Belle Reve. I know the residents and Vicky will be really happy to receive this. And we have another piece here.
Sure. This is
Everybody's familiar with the water meter.
Right, exactly. It's a great logo, and hopefully it deters people from stealing the original ones that are located in a few neighborhoods. But it's a mold that we derive most of the information from, and it's just part of our production line. It's a single cast object, and once again, it's made from recycled glass.
Awesome. And everybody, well, most people in the city are familiar with you and your glass fleur-de-lis.
Sure.
Tell me what started the process and started this whole trend with these glass fleur-de-lis.
Sure. Well, just a desire to create a paperweight and to create a you know, an affordable gift. You know, so we've been making these for a very long time. Very popular after Katrina, of course. And this particular glass is an unusual opalescent blue.
It's beautiful.
So it has a kind of a like that cloudy color to it, and it will go from a very toothpaste, opaque, to a complete transparent. So throughout the week that we're using this glass, it's changing all the time.
So you can make all these glass pieces in any color, and if somebody wanted to commission you to, let's say they wanted this fleur-de-lis in clear or in green, that's possible, that could be done.
It is. I mean, we are subservient to what recycled colors we get, but we have access to 40 different colors. There are techniques to which we can add color to the surface and stuff, but yeah, it's, you know, we have a lot of options.
And when you say you use recycled glass, what exactly types of recycled glass do you use?
Well, thanks. That's a great question, because people want to donate their glass to us all the time, and we really can't accept glassware or you know, used mayonnaise jars. You know, the glass has to have the same chemistry to be effective, where it'll survive in the process. So the glass we get is from a large glass recycler out of North Carolina called Gabbard. They provide us with whatever color that we need, and all of it's compatible. It's not going to break in the making of the glass.
So if I wanted to donate my glass to you, you really don't accept that?
No. Phoenix Recycling is great. Tulane University does have a site in which people can donate glass. They add chemicals to it to make it workable. But we buy, since we use primarily colored glass, we get it from a wholesaler of recycled glass.
Great. And I was recently in the French Quarter and passed by the Louisiana State Museum and saw all these beautiful bottles hanging from the ceiling, and I just knew right away that it was your work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about how that came to fruition.
Well, Inferno is, we do a line of production like the fleur-de-lis, something very simple, and then Inferno takes commissions, like we do the Crescent City Classic Awards.
Oh, really?
Then I do commissions as well as my own artwork. And the State Museum job was the State Museum staff reaching out to the local community for a lot of glass artists to propose an idea for the ceiling of the new Living with Hurricanes exhibition. So as you walk into the presbytere, they wanted a glass artist to do something with the ceiling. So I came up with the idea and got the commission. It's 1,600 bottles that are sandblasted, hang from the ceiling, and in each bottle is a note. It's like a little prayer of remembrance of the dead. And the 1,600 is in reference to how many people died directly as a response to the storm throughout the entire Gulf region. Then there's 300 cast glass hands in blue that form a spiral that mimic the shape of a hurricane.
You sound like you're really passionate about the glass work that you do. Whenever you make a piece, do you put your whole self in this piece, and are you still connected to that piece sometimes where you feel like you don't want to sell it or you don't want to get rid of it?
Well, I mean, selling it is a big perk. I mean, it's a necessity. I mean, it's a very expensive technique to use and stuff. There are pieces that I'm attached to, but funny enough, my biggest collection of my own work are broken pieces or components of things, you know, that I like to have and stuff. I mean, I see my work living in other people's homes or in an exhibition like this is more it makes me more happy than me just being my own biggest collector. And when I go in someone's home and see a piece, you know, or like what will happen with this piece in Belle Reve, that's much more important to me.
Right, and I have a lot of pieces in my home,
that's
as you would know. Thank you.
Sure.
So Mitchell, I am so happy to have you here with me today. This piece that you're donating to Belle Reve is really special. I can't wait to put it up at Belle Reve, and I'm sure it's going to be really happy. The people at Belle Reve are going to be really thankful that you donated. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So we're ready for the big reveal.
Open that door!
Vicky, it's finally happened, so I'm so excited. So what do the residents think about the place?
Oh, they think it's awesome. This is one of the rooms we use for community space, for when we have some groups that are small and intimate, or when we have outside guests that come to visit residents. They can also meet in this room.
That's why we decided to put a sofa bed in here, because it's with extra seating and extra bedding for when somebody came to visit.
That's one of the things we didn't have before, is when someone had a relative that wanted to spend the night, we weren't sure where to put them, and now we do have a space for that as well.
Well, good. I think you have one of your board members here.
Yeah, this is Ed Potrax, and he is our Secretary-Treasurer of the Board of Directors here.
Thank you for joining us today. So tell me, what do you think of the space, Ed?
It's beyond awesome. The first time I saw this room before they renovated, I didn't think it was possible.
But we made it happen, right?
Made it happen. It's unbelievable. It's a treasure now.
Well, Sean and Mary Elizabeth, you guys are social workers here today at Belle Reve. Tell me, how are you going to utilize this space to the best of your ability to help the residents of Belle Reve make the most use out of this space?
Well, we have big plans for this room, and we're going to have the residents come over here, sit with them, do groups, individual counseling, whatever it comes first.
So this is going to be a multifunctional space. You're going to use it not only for your one-on-one sessions, but also for your group therapies as well, right?
Yes.
So you think that we've done a good job by putting this room together?
Definitely. We already have used it, for several things and some smaller meetings, like one-on-one with residents, as well as I think we showed a movie in here once.
Really?
So
that's exciting. So you think we've done a good job with making sure that the people at Belle Reve and you guys are going to be happy with the space?
Yes, definitely.
Well, good. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying it, and I hope you enjoy more.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope the people from Belle Reve has enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed putting it together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Chet.
very welcome.
Appreciate it.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Vicky, how's the room been working out for you at Belle Reve?
Oh, we just love this room. This is one of our favorite rooms that we have in all of our houses. We are using this room for a lot of different reasons right now.
So tell me some of the things that you guys are doing in that room.
Well, we actually have a social worker that meets with each of the families every week. So instead of the social worker going to the family's apartment, we have the mother or the father, whichever one that is, to come down to the community room and meet down there. It's a more comfortable space. The social worker has an office, but we just feel like it's a more comfortable place for the resident to be able to open up and talk freely, and more of a home setting.
Well, I am so happy to have been a part of that, and I hope it's working out well for you guys.
It is.
And thank you very much.
Oh, we're just elated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vicky.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank Joey Helm of Helm Paint and Mitchell Gode of Studio Inferno and other various donors and sponsors. Next month, we will have another family room at the Ronald McDonald House that needs to be Chetterized. And if you want to see more on the painting techniques on today's show, or to learn more about the Belle Reve and its mission, visit my website at chetporshowdesign.com. We also have a beautiful glass ornament donated by Mitchell Gode for one lucky audience member. Go to my website and register to win this incredible piece of art. I am Chet Porchot, and I have designs on New Orleans. See you next month.
Chet Chat is underwritten by Helm Paint and Supply, delivering the ultimate paint experience with locations throughout New Orleans.